is our objective for today. I can transform geometric figures. Read together. 1, 2, 3. I can transform geometric figures. All right. So we already finished up with all the algebra that we did in the past. We're continuing on with we continued with data and statistics. Now we're moving on to geometry. Now this is a very simple lesson, but it also is a little bit challenging for some of us in the sense that it requires us to think about geometry in the third dimension. Okay? So, to get started, let's talk about transformations. What are transformations or transform? Here it goes. It says, to transform something, or in mathematics, a transformation is when you change position or orientation of an object. In mathematics, transformations are when you change position or orientation of an object. For example, let's say this class, we have our seating arrangement right now, like this, but I will transform the seating arrangement by moving one person to a different position. And most teachers do that because some of the students get in trouble. Have you guys noticed that we changed some of you up? So let's say I'm just gonna think a random name, Cooper. Let's say I pick Cooper, and I said, Cooper, can you get your stuff and move over here to the seat in the front? Okay, that's what we call a transformation. If I was to move them to the front there, that's what we call a transformation. Now, if I really wanted to make a point out of the fact that maybe Cooper got in trouble, and I would say, okay, you know what? Never mind, Cooper, so that you don't distract anyone else by like giving the look and making them laugh or whatever it is you do. I want you to turn your desk to facing the back, and from now on, you're just going to be facing the back, and I'll give you the notes at the end of the class. I don't want you interacting with anyone. What I just did, I changed orientation. He changed orientation from being facing the front. Now he's going to be facing the back for the rest of the semester. That's what a transformation is. Not that he gets in trouble, but I'm saying that's what transformations are. Okay? Next, when I gave you guys graph paper, we're about to start sketching figures. When I ask you to sketch either triangle, rectangle, pyramid, or a circle, whatever the figure, the original figure that I ask you to sketch is going to be called a pre-image. What is it called? Pre-image. From there, I'm going to ask you to do stuff to that image, move it, turn it, and so on and so forth, and then I'm going to ask you to sketch the new one. The new one's no longer going to be called a pre-image. It's going to be called an image. Everybody got it? So that's what we're going to be doing today. So there's three transformations that we're going to be doing today. Copy this table, please. The three transformations we're going to be covering today are translation, rotation, and reflection. Translation, rotation, and reflection. Copy that table, please. I'll give you some time. So, the three transformations we're doing today is translation, rotation, and reflection. So, writing pencils down, look up to the screen. So, before we get started, I'm going to try and see if I can get you to start thinking more using your imagination so that we can get this or understand these three transformations, okay? Writing your pencils down, look up, please. So the first thing I want to address is that in geometry, there's something we call space, okay? And it has to be addressed. So what does that mean? That everywhere around us is what we call space because there's empty space. Does everybody see that? Yeah. Okay, there's empty space here, okay? So that's what we call space. However, within that space, we can place points. So you need to imagine that. We can place line segments, and we can place lines. But there's another one that I want to address that's called a plane. But before I do that, Here it goes. I want you to look at me. Okay? So here's an empty space in front of me. I'm going to place a point on my space here, and I'm going to hold on to it. Ready? There it goes. Here's my point right here, and I grab it. Are we there? Yeah. Okay? Now I'm going to get my other hand and grab that same point from underneath, and I'm going to start stretching it vertically. Can you picture that? Yeah. Now check this out. I'm going to pull it from the top and the bottom, and I'm going to let go so it can continue going. Ready? Okay. So it went up and all the way down, so it created a line segment. But if it continues going without stopping going through, it's a line. Can you picture that right here, right in front of me? Yeah. Okay, so check this out. Look over here. So I have it here in front of me. I'm going to grab it from the side with my hand. I'm going to grab the other side. Now I'm going to pull horizontally. And I'm going to pull it so that continues going. So it's going to go all the way that way and all the way this way. And now it went through the walls, through the ceiling, to the floor, and it continues going. It created an, check this out. Let's see. Let's see if you see it in front of me. You guys see it right here? This is what we call a plane. A plane is an invisible wall that is created, and it can be any figure, but for right now, let's imagine that it's a rectangle. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place this letter P on my plane. Ready? Yeah. Yes, this is what that is. Here it goes. I'm going to place my letter P on the plane. Pay attention, and I'm going to do a translation so you understand what it looks like in real time. Ready? Here it goes. I'm going to place this on my, does everybody see my imaginary plane right here? Here it goes. Okay, everybody there? Okay, so it's right here. Now I'm going to do a translation. Pay attention to what happens. Okay, let me repeat that again. I place my P on the plane right here, and then I did a translation. Let me do another translation. Okay, now let me show you how it looks on 2-dimension on the screen. The plane is right here. Everybody there? And then I said, I'm going to place the letter P on my plane. There it is. So far, so good? Yeah. Then I said, I'm going to do a first translation. Did I do that? Yeah. Then I said, I'm going to do another translation. Did I do that? Yeah. That's what we call a translation. Now let me show you what you're going to write on your table. I give you a pre-image, which is in red. The blue image is the image after I do the translation. What do you guys notice? That there's a line, right? That means when you do a translation, it slides a figure along a line without turning. It slides a figure along a line without turning. Copy that, please. All right. Now that we have a translation, now I'm going to show you how to do a rotation. Okay? So here it goes. Look up, please. Laying utensils down. Okay. So I'm gonna continue where I left off with my letter P. I started off. I said, here's my imaginary plane. I placed my P on the plane. It translated that way, and it translated this way. Are we there so far? Yeah. Okay. So now from here, I'm going to do a rotation. But to do a rotation, I'm not just going to rotate. Look up, please. Right now, I'm not just going to rotate the letter by itself. I'm going to rotate using a certain specific point, which is called the point of rotation, center of rotation. I'm going to use the center of rotation, my elbow. Here's my elbow. That means I need to draw a segment from that image to my elbow, this point, so I can rotate. And I'm going to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. Look up, please. Guys, look up. Here it goes. So, Look at it. I'm going to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. Did it rotate only the letter? No. It rotated using the fixed point, which was what? The center of rotation, which is my elbow. Everybody following so far? Okay. Now, at times, it's going to ask you to use maybe the center of the figure as the center of rotation. That's fine. But for right now, I'm using this point. So what does that mean in 2D? In 2D, a rotation, you take an object, you set up a fixed point, whichever point that is, and you rotate the degrees they ask you to create the image. In words, a rotation turns a figure around a point called the center of rotation. For those of us in sports, we call that our pivot point or our pivot foot. Yeah. In any sport, they usually have a pivot. Okay. And last but not least, a reflection. Some of you are experts at that here. Now I'm going to do a shout out to my brother, my little brother. He used to spend like half an hour to 45 minutes in front of the mirror. I'm serious. It's like he'll be doing this, like with a comb or whatever. Oh my goodness.
Can we meet him on the last day of school?
Okay, once again, with a comb or a brush, he'll be in front of the mirror, and then, and then, and then, and then. And then. And then,
we should do that for the rest of the class. I'll help you.
He would go at it like forever. I'm like, are you serious, dude? And I'll be like, let's go. And then, so then we would go up, we would leave, and then all of a sudden in the hallway there was another mirror, and guess what? Oh, wait.
Frank called the mirror.
Bash
it once he looks at it.
So then we're walking outside, like by the door, there's another mirror, guess what? And it's like, really? So, what he was looking at is a reflection of himself. Now, let me show you here it goes. Here's the letter P. In real time here, I'm going to show you. Here you go. Once again, I placed it on my plane. There it is. Okay, and there's reflections that we do about the x-axis or the y-axis. So, imagine there's an x-axis under the letter P. Can you picture it? Okay, if you can't, let me be obvious. Here's the x-axis. I'm going to rotate this letter about the x-axis.
It's a B!
Does everybody see what happened? I rotated about the x-axis. Next, picture a y-axis on that side of the P. Now I'm going to rotate about the y-axis using this letter.
Oh, it's a purple!
Everybody see it? Okay. And what does that mean in 2D? It means that a pre-image is reflected about an axis to create an image, and it flips the figure across on the line to create a mirror image. Okay? Copy that. 20 seconds. Okay. So, a reflection flips a figure across the line to create a mirror image. So look up. Example 1A, don't copy these. I just want to make sure that you understand what transformations we're looking at. Example 1A and 1B. Look at them. Tell your neighbor what kind of transformations these are.
So that one's reflection, and that one's translation. I said it first.
Okay, example 1A, who said reflection? Yes. How about example 1B, translation? Yes. Okay, look at these two. Look up. Tell your neighbor those two. What kind of transformations are those are? Okay, check this out. This one, example 1C, is a translation. Because all I do is slide this one that way. And this one's a rotation. It's rotating that way. This was a fan. It would look like it's rotating, yes? All right, get your graph paper in front of you. Plot these points. Do -3, 4, -1, 4, -3, 7, -1, 7. Connect them to make a rectangle. This is going to be our pre-image. Okay? So right now what we're going to do first is a translation. 7 units to the right and 2 units down. Now how do we do that? We pick one of the points and do that. And go 1 point at a time. So I'm going to start with this one. How many units to the right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many units down? 1, 2, and you place your point. Let's do the same thing with the second point, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. There it is. Let's do the same thing with the top two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. And of course the other one will be here. And this is my image. I gave you these directions. I made this up, Ivan, so that you can do the translation. Okay? Next, we're done with translation. Now we're going to do a reflection. I want you to reflect this image about the x-axis. How do we do that? Well, let's see. Here's our x-axis. This is our mirror. How many steps is this point away from the mirror? That means I can go 2 points the other way, and here's my point. Are we there?
Yeah.
If this one is 2 this way, that means 2 this way. If this one is 5 this way, that means 5 this way, and 5 this way. And we just did a what? A reflection. What's our last one? Rotation. Now check this out. We're going to rotate this image 90 degrees clockwise. But I'm going to use the point of origin as my fixed point. That means I'm going to put a point here. And I'm going to draw a line segment from here to this one first. If I rotate 90 degrees, that means I end up with a line segment over here to make a 90-degree angle. Is that correct? So that means if I draw my line segment about right there, that should make a 90-degree angle. Let's see. Does this look like 90 degrees? Yes, just about. So that means I'm going to place my point right here. So this point is this point, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many, so I have another point 2 steps away from this one, is that correct?
Yeah.
So if this one's at 4, this one's at -4, that means this one's at 6, that means I have a point what? -6 right there, so I connect this one. And what I just did is this segment right here. Does everybody see it? So here's this one right here. I rotated this one that way, which means I go 1, 2, 3 this way, and I end up at what? 5. So let's see if I do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, and I end up at -5 for both. And there's my image, and I just rotated 90 degrees. Home plate for tonight is a play sheet. Grab one on your way out. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy the home plate. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.